So 2019, working a 9 to 5 and, just making a few $1,000 a month and taking the credit card and swiping every ad that we'll see on YouTube. Great. Go through Amazon, Facebook ad agencies, do Consulting Accelerator, do Nick Cosman sales process. And all these courses end up helping me acquire skills, but they don't really amount to anything successful. 2019 all the way to 2020, I'm consuming content, so much content every day. I'm like brainwash myself into becoming an entrepreneur. Summer of 2020, I was like, you know what? I try to keep saving money, but it doesn't work at this job because I had promised myself that I would quit whenever I had like enough capital saved up, but it never worked. So I just quit my job. I was like, I'm gonna go all in. Worst case, I'm just gonna get another job. Now, the first thing that I tried to do was an advertising agency. Let me show you guys. So, um, like Iman was pushing, they were all pushing this ad agency, right? And what I decided to do was, okay, cool. From Sam Ovens, I learned VSL. From someone else, I learned how to run ads, right? Sam Ovens too, right? And then I also learned how to do, funnels as an example, or sell, right? So I was like, I know how to run ads. I know how to sell. I know how to make VSL. Let me go to coaches and sell them this thing, okay? Coaches and consultants, primarily because that's what Sam Ovens was selling. So I was like, well, he's showing us how he's making money. So what if I took his mechanism and went to other coaches who maybe haven't gone through his course and actually implement the same growth service or the same growth infrastructure, okay, as a service. Now, what I ended up realizing is that these people are broke, okay? And the first coach that I closed, he paid me like 4.4, like 5K, right? I was so ecstatic. I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm about to start living in a penthouse, right? And this, guys, first ever deal you close, you're gonna feel like you're on top of the moon, right? But what he ended up telling me is that, hey, I'm not willing to spend any more money until you get me clients. I was like, what the hell? I sold you ads. I didn't sell you. You need money for ads, right? But but I was not going to refund him his $4,000, 600. So what I decided to do was, okay, you know what? How about we switch this from ads to outbound? How was I able to do that? Well, first from Nick Cosman, salesprocess.io, I learned how to do outbound prospecting. And another insight that I got was leveraging $3 an hour VAs. Okay. So I was like, you know what? This guy paid me almost 5K. I can get $3 an hour VA, pay them like 200, $300 a month, get them to do outreach on this guy's campaign. Okay. And that's going to be good. And the guy was like, yes, let's do that. And then whatever money we make from that, we're going to reinvest into ads, into a faster mechanism. Well, once I realized that, okay, I can actually sell this, I decided to, you know what? Let me actually stop this ad VSL to broke people. Instead, I'm going to focus on outbound with $3 an hour VAs, okay? And to anyone with an online service. So this is where I went after primarily e-com agencies and coaches. We ended up sticking to agencies because agencies was just a lot more, they are selling something that has a clear ROI, okay? Now, once I did this, the business skyrocketed from nothing to like 30K per month. Now, the reason why it skyrocketed was because of really only of one thing, is because I had a lot more product market fit. Okay. If you're selling to a market segment that doesn't have a lot of capital, you don't sell them something that requires a lot of money to dial in. Okay. Ads, even if you have $1,000, you can get results. But for you to sustain those results or for you to optimize the funnel, you need to be able to spend a lot more money over time. That's not the most perfect thing to sell to broke people. But when I went to people and I'm like, hey, you can pay me $1,000 a month, 750 or 1250 a month, and I'm gonna do 100 outreach a day. They were like, oh my God, let's go. So this allowed me to have a great service that works for the price point for these agencies, and we got to 30K per month. Okay. Boom. This was in around 4 months. Okay. So wow, that's amazing. Now, I was like, okay, this is a great business, but it's too much of it's like it's not leveraged enough, right? Meaning in order for me to get to 10x this business, I would probably like work 150 hours a week and sleep 12 hours only a week. And I don't even have time to eat. Okay. So I decided to shut down this business. And now I'm calling it the build and release model. But back then, what I really thought of was I was like, I'm looking around and guys who are selling coaching are making a shit ton of money, but their products aren't even good. Okay. So I was like, I don't want to go coaching or consulting. And back in the days, I really couldn't because I didn't have the brand to commend the ability to charge someone $9,000 for just information. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go pure consulting. Instead, I'm going to go do consulting. Okay. But instead of just doing consulting, I'm also going to build and release the same infrastructure that I was leveraging here into their business. So the value proposition of build and release is that yes, I can consult you. I'll give you all the knowledge you need, but I'm actually going to go above and beyond and actually build and release the infrastructure that you need to create inputs for success. Okay. So as an example, by that, let me just kind of like explain it. By creating the inputs of success is really simple. If you know that to make 10K per month with an agency or to get 10K a month in new clients, you need to get 15 sales calls and close 2 new clients. And in order for you to get 15 sales calls, you need to do, let's say, 2,000 outreach per month. Well, then the inputs of success is really simply the 2,000 outreach per month. So like if you do this, you almost make it inevitable for you not to get lucky and achieve this. So for me, and this is really important for you, this is really important for you guys to understand these ways of explaining it, because this is really why people buy. People buy because you have different ways of explaining the value or the thesis around what we sell. So build and release is a model where you don't just give consulting, but you build and release an infrastructure that's supposed to create the 2,000 outreach on behalf of your client. If you look at other people in who are competing with us, they're selling primarily a course and some group calls and maybe some onboarding calls. But they're not actually giving people as something tangible that creates success or that creates the inputs that creates the outputs of success. Okay. So this allowed me to really resonate a lot with the marketplace. Okay. And also the beautiful thing was this was an affordable infrastructure. So even though I was charging 10K to 15K, right? The to manage this thing that I would build and release into their company, it only cost them 1K a month to manage, like to sustain. Okay. And this people loved it so much. Okay. And that's how literally this here or building and releasing this into these people's businesses, it got us to scale to our first 600K a month and our first 2 million a year business. Okay. So we started this, I believe this was June 2021. This was December 2022 when we did 600K a month. Okay. Just to give you guys the stats, we had 6,000 subs on YouTube's. We had spent 9K on ads in 90 days. Okay. That in that 90 days, we collected $1 million in cash collected. Okay. And this year just was blowing up. Okay. So this is really the transition. I started a service because I went through a course, didn't have product market fit, or I didn't understand the different, I didn't understand the market dynamics. And then I was like, you know what? once I started selling something that made more sense for the market and understand what the market wanted, I got to 30K per month. But this done for you service model was a lot of work, not much margin, and I decided to just shut it down. Once I shut it down, I decided to do something a little bit more leveraged. Instead of selling my team's time and my time, I would productize this here and I would build and release it into their team, into their company. So we would place VAs, we would build their outbound campaigns. We already had the data on the best platforms for outreach. We already had the data on the best outreach for the best outreach scripts. Okay. And that's about it. Now, why am I today pushing people to do build and release? Okay. Is it because I'm trying to coach people on build and release, or is there something else to it? That is where things become a little bit more interesting. Today, or at least in the last year, I've really been fighting with something really important, which is competition. Okay. Like, I personally, like, I'm disgusted by competition. I hate doing what everybody else is doing. Okay. And to be honest, this here or anything here is super, well, the build and release what we're doing, nobody could have done it at scale like we were doing it, because we're placing, like, at some point we placed, like, I think 9 EVAs in a single month into 40 businesses, and we built their acquisition and we're managing it. We're managing it, at least consulting on them. And that was a lot, like, tedious, right? But the thing I hated right now, or the market is has become overwhelmed with growth offers. Meaning, I'm sure we've all seen those ads. Hey, let me come and create a new planet for you, or you don't pay type of offers. And I was still in the same field. I didn't want to be just another one, be like, hey, let me get you appointments. I hate that shit. Primarily because if you do anything that everybody else is doing, although it's working for some, there's actually not that much profit that's going to be made in the next 6 to 12 months. So instead of me waiting for competition to dry up profits and margins, I decided to play a different game. Okay. So what I've decided to do now is we're going to take what we've done, the transformation we've gone through of build and release. Okay. And then I'm going to go after other experts, right? So experts could be agencies. Okay. It could be consultants. It could be growth consultants. It could be coaches. Okay. And then I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to show you how to go through this transformation. Okay. Here. And in exchange, what I want you to do is I want something a little different. So I want a piece of the business. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? Because if I do this, what ends up happening is we can now go into so many more niches and apply the same protocol that we did here, and now go build not necessarily a portfolio, because we're not getting equity from these businesses, right? We're just getting somewhat rev share, right? And some monthly services fee. But what this does when I do this is I almost like decentralize, like, or reduce risk of competition. Because if we have clients right now, we have clients in all kinds of niches. So we have people in the lawyer niche. We have people in AI, growth infrastructure. We have people in HVAC. We have people in like med spa. We have people in e-com. We have people in hi Sam, you tell me, how many people do we have? Because I even forget sometimes.
I mean, I think it's easier to talk about the niches that we don't serve.
Okay, so just to give you guys context, we're probably in over. Hi Sam, you want to send me the sheet where you show me the data on ads, on the ads campaigns, because I think it's good for because this is going to be used to ramp up the sales team. I want them to see how many niches we're in. And then once you guys see how many niches we're in, then it's gonna make sense. But the idea here is, we created $8 million worth of revenue with here in 2 years with this model, right? That's eight. Let's do 8 billion because that's gonna be really the goal. Let's do 8 billion. So the goal is, can I take this here and just go apply it in 50 different niches? Because maybe some people are gonna copy us, but they're not gonna copy 50 niches all at once, right? So it's almost like I want to apply what we've done into other verticals with other founders who are pretty smart and who are great at what they do. Okay. And that's the new model.